What's up, producers? I'm going to give you 5 synths for any budget to get your 2023 started right. We've got Union by Soundspot, Massive from Native Instruments, DRC from Imaginando, Hive 2 from Hive, and Pigments 4 from Arturia. And there you go. If you want to hear a bit more about each of these and hear some of those tasty patches, stick around. It's all coming up. So let's get into it. All right, producers, you already know the list, so what I'm going to do is run through some of the key features of each of these synths and play you some of those patches. They all sound magnificent, and my goal here isn't to sell you the more expensive ones, it's to show you that you can get intense sounds, really great sounds, no matter what synth you're using. So with that being said, let's go. Oh, wait. One other thing. I've done full-length tutorials, I think, on every one of these synths, so I'm going to leave links to everything in the video description. If you're looking for really in-depth information on any of these, definitely check those out before you make a purchase. But links to everything, as always, are in the description. So that being said, let's jump into the first synth, Union from Soundspot. Now, I know I said I was going to jump right in, but listen, I have something to say. My list is a little weird because 3 of these synths have insane deals on at the moment. So the order might be changed depending on when you're watching this video, but if you're watching right now today, in the first couple of days this video is released, you might want to take advantage of some of these. I think Massive's like $32. Never mind. Let's jump into the first thing. Union from Soundspot. This synth has 2 analog-style oscillators with 6 shapes apiece, and a 3rd wavetable oscillator, and you can actually create the wavetable with a combination of the 2 other oscillators. It's a pretty cool idea, and it generates great results. Each oscillator has up to 32 voice unison, and that's a lot of voices. There are 9 effects and over 300 presets. All right, so a quick note about the music. What I've done is made the same project with each one of the synths 5 times. Just to show you that you can get really great sound results out of each one of these synths. This is Unison. This is the entry-level synth that we're talking about, and the track sounds great. And these are the sounds that we're going to be focusing on for each one of these synths. So for each one of these synths, we're going to hear a pluck, we're going to hear a chord that I kind of make like a riser, and we're going to hear some subby bass. If you can't hear that bass, you need to put some headphones on or start putting this through your studio monitors, all right? I've already gone through the kind of key bullet points for Union, but what I want to show you is the voices. So what I'm going to do is turn off these other oscillators, and I'm just going to play this one voice. Now this is Unison right here, and it's going to introduce more voices. Watch what happens, and I can go all the way up to 32 here. That's a lot of voices. But then I can introduce a second one and also go up to 32. And instead of the sine wave, we can change it to something like, let's do triangle. Now, we also have some effects up here at the top, and if I introduce any of those, we're already getting some really cool results. But I can hit this generate wavetable. As soon as I do that, almost instantaneously, a wavetable is generated for me down here, and I can cycle through it. This wavetable is the combination of both of these oscillators and any of the effects we have. We can get in and adjust things, put more reverb, for example. But this, and then hit generate again, and you can see that the waveform is different now, and that's because we've added more reverb. And then we can now use this, and again, maybe drop it down an octave. We can also boost up Unison here to 32 as well, and if we go ahead and solo that. And if I hit right here, I can come into the wavetable, and we can actually desync left and right, but we can also, if I click right here, send it to an LFO. And of course, you've got your ADSR, you've got your modulation ADSR, and LFOs to choose from. You only have one for the wavetable, but you can come in here, and the effects LFO actually has 4 different LFOs you can send to different effects. And you do that by coming in And then if you click these little balls, you can decide which one. So you can see there's a little number. If I'm on the 4, and then I can decide how much the send amount for that particular parameter is sent there. It's essentially, it's a really simple synth, but there's a lot of built-in effects, and that cool wavetable generator can get some really unique sounds. And it's not something I see often in any other synths. And I think for the money, definitely worth having in your arsenal. Let's move on to the next one. Massive from Native Instruments. Features 3 wavetable oscillators, fantastic modulation and routing capabilities, LFOs, envelopes, step sequencers, ships with over 1,300 presets, and has endless preset packs available to purchase and download. All right, so this is Massive. If you haven't heard of Massive, you are probably a new producer. This is one of the biggest synths for a decade, it feels like. It was the first synth I ever spent money on. I believe it was like $200 at the time, and you can actually grab it right now on pluginboutique.com for £32. It's an absolute steal. If you can, this is a synth you want to get right now. Again, this is the same track as all of the others, and this is what the 3 patches sound like for Massive. All right, so in terms of key features of Massive, I'd have to say one of the biggest ones, beyond all of the presets and the actual wavetables that it ships with, is the routing. This is like so ahead of its time. Now, I could be wrong about that, but this type of routing is still what most synths use that are built today. So if I want to add, say, this envelope, right? I've got all of my controls over here. I can do what I want. If I want to add that envelope to, say, the pitch of the comb filter on filter 1, I just click that, and you'll see the little 1. I can just click, drag it, add it, and then click and pull up. And you'll notice this if you've done any work with any synths. This is exactly how it works. Now, obviously, I wasn't thinking what that was going to do. I just trying to show you the routing or the automation capabilities. So you've got 4 different envelopes inside of here. You've also got a number of LFOs, but these can be switched into performers or step sequencers. Performers a little bit different. This is where this synth really begins to blossom. So there are a few things Massive is known for and has been known for. One is just bass. It is so good at bass sounds. I think wavetables in general are pretty good for that. But also the arpeggios and step sequences made with the performer can really just bring a patch to life, and you don't even need to put in MIDI outside of just like a single note. Obviously you can, but it really starts to shine with those. So let me play you a few of those patches right now. Now, that's just a gnarly sound. If we jump back into the synth, you'll see that we've got a number of performers. And because you can have multiple ones, that's what allows you to actually have different sounds. For example, the noise being triggered by just one of the performers. So number 6, the noise is going to happen just on the 13th step here. And of course, you have control over the ratio and the speed. You can hear that's what that's coming from. And then maybe this is the bass line. Let's see. We can see performer 7's up here on oscillator 1. So if we turn off oscillator 2, so that's what's happening there. And if we turn on oscillator 2, which is being controlled by the step sequencer, you can see where this thing is really going to start to blossom and really can get some incredible results just in one patch or one instance of Massive. I mean, that's a dub track just in one instance of Massive. Definitely grab Massive if you can. Let's keep moving. DRC from Imaginando. This is a very lightweight synth with very big sound. It's got 2 oscillators, 1 sub-oscillator, and an additional sound source. Very strong stereo tape delay and reverbs, both with modulation functions, and some really great music theory tools baked inside. All right, so once again, these are the 3 sounds from the synth. All right, so this is a really great synth. It's about midway through our tier system here of going from some of the less expensive ones to the premium ones. Now, there's a couple of features that I want to draw your attention to if you're someone just getting started but want a synth that has a little bit more going for it. This synth has some really great music theory tools baked inside of it. So I've got a new instance of DRC loaded up here. Let's go in and find a patch. Let me filter down by some synths. Let's get some poly synths going. All right, so I've just got this missing keys one, right? Let me come back to the synth itself. Now, those sound fantastic, but one of the really cool things about DRC are the music theory tools that it has right inside of it. If I click this button right here, I can come up and choose the root note and say G, and then I can come over here and choose the type of scale. So maybe if I want Lydian. Now, if you look down here at the keyboard, it will actually keep me in the key that I've just chosen up there in those settings. That's fantastic. Now, another key thing here, see what I did? Key thing. If we press this button, we can actually get full chords. We can also come in and choose the type of chord. And we can go up or down the scale by using these over here. We can also make these bigger if we wanted. And I just think that's a really, really cool feature that a lot of synths don't have. So having that built right inside of it is just an extra thing you get when you start moving up the progression of the tier list, as it were, of synths. Hive 2 from Yuhi. Another low CPU usage synth with 3 different synth engines. Drag and drop modulation assignment, massive modulation matrix, step sequencer, arpeggiator, and 7 built-in effects. Shipping with over 2,400 presets, utilizing everything this complex synth has to offer. All right, before we even jump in, and I do want to jump in very quickly, Hive 2 and the next one, Pigments, are my favorite synths as of this moment. They're just so lush, dense, and beautiful. And Hive 2 with 2,400 presets has something for everyone. And they're also just great places to start learning the synth. It's in depth. All of Yuhi products are very, very technical, but once you get your head around some of the key concepts and even get into some of the deeper ones, you're going to really start to make exactly what you want. And it's absolutely beautiful when you get those incredible results. So let's go ahead and check out Hive 2. Just as before, here are the 3 different sounds together. Okay, so Hive 2 has 2 different engines here. We can actually come in, you can see that we've got our basic signs or shapes rather, but then we can also go into wavetables. Lots of matrix capabilities in terms of modulation, routing. You can see we've got amp envelopes, modulation envelopes, LFOs, tons of effects baked inside of it. Also, these are all sound phenomenal. There's the arpeggiator and the sequencer right here. Again, a very robust system. Another cool thing is like the XY pad. You have up to 4 of them, which you can control using your XY pad, or just you can automate right in your DAW. We can also show all 4 at the same time. Double clicking anything will put it back to its beginning. So that's just what I'm going to do. Back to that normal patch. Another really cool thing is the synth engine selection up here at the top. It's not a gimmick. It really changes how the sounds are processed, and it will actually really change the sound. So here's what we had normal. So as I was saying before, we can come into the wavetable editor. Obviously, we're just on a simple shape here, but if I go to wavetable and then come to the drop down, we can choose anything we want. And then we have a lot more that we can deal with. And this is just one thing to think about. When you get into the more premium style or brand of synths, it's just going to be more control over your final sound. If you just want some great sounding patches, all of these synths, and this is the point of this video, will give you great sounding patches. But something like a Hive 2 in our next synth is really going to allow you to get in and change literally everything. If I come into the preset manager, you'll see how many different presets we have in here. It's absolutely insane. You can favorite things. Again, I've done deep dives on this. I'm going to leave a link to the video description. Definitely check it out, but let's keep moving. Pigments 4 from Arturia. This synth has 2 sound engines, which can be analog, wavetable, sample, granular, or harmonic. There are 18 built-in high-class effects, an advanced drag and drop modulation workflow, over 1,400 professionally crafted presets, and so much more. All right, so here we are, the last synth of the day. If you made it this far, congratulations, give yourself a pat on the back. Right now, we're going to be checking out Pigments 4, which is my personal go-to synth of the moment. It's just got everything, and the quality of the sounds that come out of this synth when you spend a little bit of time patch by patch is just second to none, in my opinion. So just as before, here are the 3 sounds. Couple of things. Let me move this around for a second. I really dig this sound right here. It just sounds so good. Put some glide on this sub bass. As I was saying, right up here in the synth engine, we got 2 of them, but we can choose between these different styles. So we got the analog, wavetable, sample, and harmonic. Each one of those will give you a separate set of controls. So that's the wavetable. This is your analog one. You can see we've got 3 oscillators in that one engine for analog. The sampler, you can have quite a few different samples inside of it, and you can mix and match those how you see fit. As I was saying, look at the size of the sample library that ships. And of course, you can drag and drop your samples in from your own library. There's also the harmonic engine, which gives really cool, unique sounds, and you can combine any of those with another one over here. The utility engine is where you can have, essentially, there's like a sub oscillator down here, and then 2 noise slots, as I was saying, and there's a big library to choose from, and just like before, you can drag and drop your own samples into there. Modulation, as of the newest version, which is 4, is drag and drop. So if I want to, I can assign things to this envelope, or I can just drag it and drop it to whatever I want, and then I have this control. And remember what I was saying about Massive. Massive came out so long ago, but we still use that kind of outside ring to annotate what's being modulated by what. And well, color-wise, you got the envelope, it's orange, it's perfect. Tons of different filters to choose from. Effects, so many effects, including some new ones like the shimmer one. They're just absolutely out of control. But if I come over here, these are all the different effects you have. You just click it, it's in there. You have effects A, you've got effects B, you can send certain amounts, or you have a level. You can decide how the bus is routed. You have auxiliary sends as well, with up to 3 inserts a piece. There's also the sequencer, which again, very robust. So much inside of this synth. What I'm going to do is just play a few of my favorite patches just so you can hear the quality, and then we'll wrap up the video. Listen, I could be stuck here all day just checking out these presets. I've already said it. It's my favorite right now, and for good reason. But I'm gonna leave the video there. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments. If you enjoy this type of content, I can do more for other styles, things, if it's reverbs, delays, what have you. But I just wanted to start the year off right and give you some options no matter what's going on in your life. Also, there's a bunch of free synths on the site too. I'll leave a link to that. If you made it this far, you deserve it. Anyway, I'm Joshua Casper here with Plugin Boutique. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.